Hi, good morning and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 892. I'm Kristin Omdahl and we're here live in Southwest Florida at the beach. This is the gorgeous Gulf of Mexico behind me. As you can see, it is high tide. Very little beach where I'm sitting right now, but that's kind of exciting too. We'll see if it comes closer or not. Hi Naomi, good morning. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast, everyone. Hi Grace and Joe, good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Hi Leona and Judy, Thea, Rita, Doris, Nora, Christine, Thea. Good morning, everybody. Hi Lily and Donna. Good morning, Jane and Kat. Hi, Sharon. Good morning. Hi, Lois. Lois, first time on live chat. Exciting. Hi, Steffi and Carrie and Kathy. Good morning. Hi, Linda. Yeah, the waves are loud. There's nice rolling action going on. Hi, Rita. Thanks, Helen. This is the Natalie headscarf that I'm wearing. It's made in 2 colors of Be So Fine tidbit size yarn. I believe this is Crushed Berries and Lilac Memories. It is a standalone PDF pattern on my website. It is also available in my book, 52 Crochet Gifts. So you can get it either way. Thank you, Naomi. Yeah, I think a headscarf and these lace blouses definitely give a nice boho vibe. I'm wearing one of the lace blouses that I found recently on Amazon that I love, and my jean shorts, the super stretchy ones that are super comfortable that I found on Amazon as well. I think this with the headscarf is a super cute summery outfit. Oh, I'm wearing earrings from Amazon too. I lost these for a while. One of them fell out of my ear in the car and I didn't know. And so I had one for a while. And then eventually I said, if you can't find it, it was in the car, it's probably under the seat. So duh, I went and looked under the seat and I found the other earring. Even found the second backing. Weird, huh? Anyway, lucky me. Because I actually like, these are one of my favorite pairs from a set of earrings that I found on Amazon. In fact, I found another set of earrings on Amazon recently, and they match the long pendant necklaces that I bought. Remember when I bought earrings and necklaces for my trip back in May to Indiana to tape season 11 for Knit and Crochet Now TV show? Well, the necklaces, apparently I've discovered an earring set that matches the pendants, some of the pendants on those pendant necklaces. Specifically, there's a very lacy leaf design in one of the pendants on the long necklaces, and I found earrings that are dangly earrings that have that same lace leaf texture. And so I'm very excited for them to arrive. They're supposed to arrive today or tomorrow, Wednesday, somewhere in that range. Judy's sharing a link to the necklaces. I'll share a link to the earrings. Once I see them, if I like them, if I don't like them, I'm not going to share them with you, you know? Like, there's no reason to share things I don't like. I only share things that I do like. No reason to promote things that I don't like, so I'll wait and give my review on it. Same with, like I said, I bought some mascaras a while back. I bought 3 new drugstore brand mascaras and I'm still trying them out. I'm on day 2 of trying one of them right now. And it's not just so much how it goes on or how buildable they are, but I also want to see how they flake and rub off throughout the day, whether they do or don't. So I will be giving a thorough review of those once I've had a chance to try all of them out. I know the waves are amazing today, aren't they? Wow. And I'm going to show you over here. Turn the camera around. Look there is practically no beach here this morning. The waves are all the way up to the edge. It's pretty exciting. It's always exciting at the beach. Anytime you're in nature, you never know what you're going to get. I love the anticipation of not knowing what Mother Nature is going to provide for us. It's just, it's amazing. I love it. Hello, Holy Hummer from California. Welcome. Thanks everybody for joining me this morning. Joe and Thea are going to be back in, woo! The waves are coming up. That one was an inch from my blanket. Oh, which means I might get wet. Ooh. Oh well. Good thing I don't melt. So, couple of updates. That black knit sun hat that I'm making with Be So Airy yarn, I misplaced it between yesterday and today. I worked on it this weekend. I worked on a lot of projects this weekend. I have a ton of patterns in process right now, and there's so much going on and it's very overwhelming. Let's see, I want to say I have 10 or 12 patterns in process of like almost all of them are knit or crocheted already. So it's the process of writing the pattern, making the charts, doing the photography, sizing them, getting them to tech editing, and there's so much going on right now, and most of them are still in the writing process. But hi BB, thanks for joining live. But very exciting, lots of wonderful things for fall and winter coming. And then as soon as I get those off into the process, then I'm going to start working on a little bit of, I want to do some crochet and edging pieces still for summer as well. Maybe even some jewelry. I brought with me, because I couldn't find the sun hat that I wanted to work on this morning, I brought this. This is a 2-color headscarf that I've been working with on and off for a while. It's in Be So Fine Tidbits in colors Twilight Skies and Raven Black. And have I shown you progress on this one before? I feel like I might have. So I started with a fairly complicated, interesting design for the center of the square. Hopefully you can see that. And then I've switched to like a vertical stripe with the 2 colors for a border. And so that's what I'm working on now. And when this is about, I don't know, 24 inches square, which I think we're getting close to right now. And then I'll have to decide once I steam it if it's actually to the right size. See how it's not holding its shape very well right now? In really fine yarns, especially if you're manipulating and making lots of different types of increases and decreases, it's hard to say whether or not you did the increases and decreases right to get a flat fabric. And I did a lot of post stitches in the middle, so it's hard to say if I kept the right tension for growing a square. And I won't know until I block it at this point. I might even block it before I go any further, just to make sure that it's going to lay flat when it's done. So that's part of the design process that you don't actually often see, right? Everyone likes to show you when something is perfect, and you know, whether you're experimenting with design on your own for the first time or you're a seasoned designer, you still work with trial and error sometimes, especially when you want to push the envelope and try to create something unusual or different. You do have to experiment, and when you experiment, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay, because there's a ton to learn from things like that. Like for example, it may be that I just, if it is too tight in some of the post stitch areas, it might mean that I just have to make a larger post stitch in that section. Let's say that I did some double crochet post stitches, although I know better and know that if I'm doing a double crochet type round and I don't want to, do I ever design something from the chart? Yes, I design charts first sometimes, but still, what I'm describing right now could still be affected. Something could look great in chart form and still not work in practicality in the yarn and the project, because like I'm saying, there are certain types of stitches that are more dense or shorter than their counterparts. So, for example, a regular double crochet is yay tall, right? Once you go into making a front post double crochet, it's worked lower on the previous round, so therefore it ends up being a little bit shorter, a little more dense. And if you want to compensate for that, sometimes you might want to elongate that stitch and make a front post treble crochet to counteract that height difference. And it depends on the yarn, it depends on the stitch pattern, and it depends on what you're making. Sometimes you need to compensate for it and sometimes you don't. How's that for gray area? Design is gray area though. It's always gray area in design. And this one has post stitches in it too, actually. Post stitches are what gives this texture so much interesting detail. It almost gives you like a bricklayer texture, right? And that's because of the strategically placed post stitches in the two opposite colors, and it gives you that color definition in between the sections, so it doesn't necessarily look like stripes, even though this is really simple stripes. Here's the back side. You can see you're only working one color at a time, but when you look at the front side and see those post stitch placements, it gives you the optical illusion that you're working with more than one color at a time. It's very interesting. Hi Shelly, thank you. I love wearing a headscarf. Took me a while to get over my fear of wearing them. Silly, right? But now that I did, I love wearing them. Yeah, I did crochet chains on this piece instead of regular fringe, and it gives so much longevity to the project, and I think it definitely makes it a little classier too. I think that, or more refined, let's say. I think it's a more refined design, adding crochet fringe instead of wearing regular fringe, which is just cut and unraveled. This holds up so much better when you wash it and dry it. It holds up better even when you're storing it. Like, I think this is by far the best way to do fringe. Then we also have that twisted fringe technique that I've taught over the years too. That one I love as well. But for me, I think you get more bang for your buck with the twisted fringe when you use thicker yarns. And a really fine yarn like this, Be So Fine yarn is a #1 fingering weight. I feel like the volume that you get from twisting it just doesn't give you the same wow factor that the thicker yarns do. So you'll see that when I do fringe on #1 and #2, so like Be So Fine and Be So Sporty yarns, I usually do some variation of this chain fringe or chain and picot fringe. See how I put a little picot at the bottom of these fringes? I feel like it gives it a little added interest, prettiness too. But when you go into the thicker yarns, like Be So Baby yarn #3 DK weight, and then my #4 worsted weights and my #5 bulky weight yarns, those yarns, the twisted fringe is amazing. So you can find a video tutorial for the twisted fringe here on my YouTube channel. I've done it in knitting and in crochet, and you can also find it in several patterns. Can I think of a pattern off the top of my head? No. Oh, the Owen blanket does it. A real pretty 2-color shawl from Motif Magic that I can't remember. It's in gray and pink. Needs to be redone, by the way. That one has it. Owen blanket has it. Maybe Carrera blanket has it too. That's the Tunisian Afghan I did in Be So Baby yarn, and Owen is the tapestry crochet motif Afghan that I did, also in Be So Baby yarn. Both of those are so pretty, and they both use the twisted chain, the twisted fringe technique also. The shawl I'm thinking of has hot pink and gray in it. It's a big half hexagon one with the twisted fringe. It was the first time I came up with twisted. Yep, there was one the Be So Tender shawl, which was called, I don't know. That one I made before I came up with the twisted fringe idea. That one was taking 2 pieces of cut fringe and twisting them and tying them at the bottom with a little machine that did it. And although that was fun, and anytime you want to use cut fringe, I always recommend tying a little knot at the end of each strand so that they don't unravel. You know, sometimes we want things to unravel and sometimes we don't. And if you don't want something to unravel, even though you've cut it, you just want to tie a knot into the end of it, and boom, Bob's your uncle, you're fine. I don't know why I said that. But then, for example, I did do the queen bee bag years ago, where I intentionally brushed out the fibers to make them wilder. And when I've done crochet feathers, which was like a counterpart to macrame feathers, when I did the crochet feathers with Be So baby yarn, I also left those cut and brushed out the so that all the plies would unravel and it would look more feathery and more hair-like than yarn-like. Very pretty. So it depends on what you're going for. So if you want your fringe to be unraveled, earrings and jewelry, it's a good idea. Crochet feathers, it's a good idea. So like for mandalas and stuff. And even for that queen bee bag, it was definitely... no, Stella is a shawl from 52 Crochet Gifts, and that one I used foundation oval fringe. That was a different type of fringe that I did. I'm a fringe lover. Can't help it. I love fringe. But I only like, I think fringe is, I think when you're deciding what kind of fringe to use, you have to decide what is the lifestyle of the piece you're going to make. How are you going to use the piece you're going to make? How are you going to wash the piece you're going to make? Is washing practical? Is it not practical? So like something that's going to be wall art, let's say a mandala with crochet feathers on the bottom, you're probably not going to throw that in the washing machine. You're probably going to dust that and spot wash it. And with things like that, yeah, go ahead and use cut fringe and brush it out so it's wild and rustic. Thank you, Judy. Yes, it was the Lily shawl. The Lily crochet shawl was the first one that I used twisted fringe on. However, back to what I was saying, you have to figure it, just like when you're deciding what kind of yarn to use for a gift, you have to think about what is the lifestyle of this project going to be. Is it going to be a person, am I giving this gift to somebody who is fine with hand washing something? Is it, am I giving this gift to somebody who machine washing is the only way to go? Should I give them a laundry bag with this purchase to make sure that when they dump it in with their other things, this handmade item will still be somewhat protected in the washing machine? Do I use a yarn that's hand wash only? Do I use a yarn that can be machine washed and dried? These are things that you should think about, especially if you want the life of that project to last a long time. That's why we take so much care in weaving in our loose ends. Because I would imagine that if you're giving it to somebody who knows nothing about handmade items, it might even go in the trash after, because it might get damaged or they might not know how to fix it. I know lots of people who have had problems over the years with giving a gift to somebody in a yarn that could be felted if it goes in the wash machine, and they tell them to hand wash it, and guess what? It doesn't get hand washed at one point. I mean, who hasn't had issues with someone even in the house washing the wrong things together when you ask for help? So it's really important to think about these things that are going to be outside of your control when you're giving a gift. It's important to think about what will be the easiest way for this to be pleasurable for that person. Speaking of which, I got a little further along on my plan B of the blanket that I wanted to give as a gift to a friend who's housewarming gift, and the person requested chocolate variegated and Be So Easy yarn, and I started one project with it a while back and I did not like it, so I moved on to something else, and I kind of cheated. It's not really cheating because it ends up looking really cute together. So what turns out is that bisque really perfectly matches chocolate variegated and Be So Easy yarn. And when I did the video tutorials for the Blake Afghan, I happened to have 6 motifs made up in bisque in Be So Easy yarn, and I found them over this weekend. I was like, you know, it sure would be nice to incorporate them into this chocolate variegated Afghan that I'm making as this housewarming present. And I thought, well, if I use these, then I've got a bunch of motifs already made, so I'll just offset those. I'll alternate them with the same 6 motifs in chocolate variegated. So I did that, as I was thinking about putting them together, I decided to come up with a different technique than the one that I used for the Blake Afghan. So I used a seamless join as you go Afghan where I could use one strand of yarn and join all of the motifs together. So, and then I'm going to come up with a completely different and unique edging for it. So I'm trying to decide, does that make it a different pattern? Does that make it a supplement to the Blake pattern? I haven't figured out how I will share what I've done on this. It's going to have a completely different look, obviously, because it's done in 2 colors instead of the multicolors, and different designing, different joining technique, and a completely different edging. But I'll somehow have to figure out how to share all of that with you. Hi, Marcia, but it's looking really, really pretty. And it's combining chocolate variegated with bisque. I'll probably bring out the variegated colors and Be So Easy yarn and show you some of the other colors that could coordinate when this blanket is done. We'll do that. Now, my phone is in the shade right now. I'm not. The phone is. And it's still going dark, so I don't really get that. That's pretty wild. We might have to wrap things up early here because it's gone significantly dark and can barely read it. We'll see how long it goes. Okay, someone asked about my top. My top is store-bought. I did not make this one. It is from my Amazon shop, and Judy's been posting a link to that. Whew, it is warm out here. And she's also posted links to what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Natalie headscarf. It's a pattern in my shop. You can also find it in 52 Crochet Tips book. And it is made in Be So Fine Tidbits, which is the 215 yard, approximately 1/3 of a ball size of Be So Fine yarn. You can find so many gorgeous colors, and they come, instead of being a giant 650 yard ball, they come as a center pull ball in these little bags instead. And you get it's about 215 yards, which is great for small projects. You can make a skinny scarf with one. You could use them for jewelry. Great way to do color work. And honestly, you can make anything you can make in Be So Fine yarn in this size. I know a lot of people prefer this size because they don't like working with large yardage balls in thin yarn. I am sweating profusely out here. Melanie made a pumpkin with a tidbit. That's awesome. I've made so many things with them. I'm doing a headscarf in 2 colors right now. I made this in the tidbits. I've done earrings. I've done scarves. I've done color work. So many wonderful things. All right, does anybody have any other questions? And I have noticed less ants in the sun. There are still some ants, but I've noticed a little less. I'm sweating more, but it's funny that some people don't like seeing me dark in the shade, but I'm guessing there will be other people that are uncomfortable seeing me sweat in the sun too, so. Oh well. Is there an earring pattern? Marcia wants to know. There are tons of earring patterns. You can go to either my knit pattern shop or crochet pattern shop and search by jewelry. Are you looking for knit or crochet? I have tons of jewelry patterns. Let me know what you're looking for, and I can either explain how to get there, and or Judy might be able to give you a link, but just let me know what you're looking for. There's tons and tons of jewelry patterns on my website. You know what else I remembered to bring this morning? Show you one other thing. You're looking for crochet earrings. So if you go to my crochet pattern shop and click on the plus sign, it'll drop down and give you some subcategories. Click on jewelry, and then you'll see all of my crochet jewelry patterns, and you'll find lots of earrings there. You can also search that way for knit patterns. Do you remember, I'm going to share one of my personal pages that I've written in this book. So looks like on May 7th in 2021, which wasn't that long ago, I decided to go old school in what I was writing about. I was really working on forgiveness of myself at the time, and I thought, remember in elementary school when the teacher would make you write something down and you write it over and over and over again, but it really kind of stuck, didn't it? I've always felt that writing things down really helps me with whatever I'm trying to focus on, and whether it's letting go of something or focusing on it more. And that's one of the powerful reasons why I made these books to begin with, because I used to love to write quotes down in notebooks, and I felt like having the quotes already written in here gave me the ability to write my own thoughts down. And so on May 7th, 2021, I decided to go old school and write "I forgive myself" all the way down the page. And I just opened to this page right now, and I wanted to share it with you because this was a really powerful day for me. There was something really releasing about actually saying it out loud and then repeatedly writing it down. I really enjoyed that. So why don't we read the quote that's on that page too, since this is the page I opened up to. It's by Aristotle. "Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work." Absolutely, yes. Anytime you can add some positivity and some excitement or some enthusiasm in whatever you're doing, you're going to be better at it and you're going to do a better job at it. No question, no question. It's your intention that means everything regards to what you're doing. So thank you, Aristotle. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Absolutely. Wow, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the beach, the sound of the waves, this gorgeous scenery, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of Create, Share, Inspire podcast. Bye-bye.